The first sentence is, don't leave it to get better on its own. So here's a quote from a man called Friedman, which says, parents cannot produce change in a troubling child, no matter how caring, savvy, or intelligent they may be, until they become completely and totally fed up with the behavior. Friedman is a rabbi, and I would say probably the most provocative book on leadership is his book called A Failure of Nerve. He was a rabbi who led a congregation, and he was a family therapist. And what he said was, the trouble with hope is that you go on hoping it'll get better without you doing anything about it. The person in your PCC who needs some kind of a challenge, you just kind of think, if only I love them a bit better, they'll get better without me having to do anything. And what Friedman says is, that's cowardice. So you'll know, I'm sure Bishop Stephen has one of his little sayings, is that the sign of madness is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. That's what we do in church. We're a bit like Marks and Spencer's. We say, we know what you need, we've got it in here, come in and buy it. And if you don't come in and buy it, we know whose fault it is. It's not ours, because we know what you need. It's your fault for not coming in. We're a bit like that, because we know what everybody needs, because we've got the truth. And so all we have to do is to dress up our bit of truth in the best kind of way, and then you'll get it. It's an interesting attitude, and most people sensibly walk past and don't come in and buy. I've got endless stories from the 5 years I've been at Sarum, where members of staff it was hoped that they would get better. And until somebody said to them, actually, that's not the way we do things around here, and this behavior is not acceptable. And you need to know that from me, that it's not acceptable. Only then did we begin to get some change. Now, of course, the temptation when you're in a position of leadership is to do it abusively and with violence. And the real challenge is to call people's bad behavior in a kindly and loving way. Most chief executives in the secular world, when questioned about what they wished they'd done differently in their first year, say, I wish I'd tackled some things sooner. Now, we have a tradition in the church that when you become a new vicar, you spend a year learning and listening. And I've heard a couple of clergy just recently who said, actually, I went in there, I knew it wasn't any good, I just drove through all the changes in the first 3 months. And it's been great ever since. And, well, there's an interesting perspective. But I can promise you, if you leave it to get better on its own, it won't. And part of what you have to do as a courageous leader is to work out what you need to tackle and how you're going to tackle it.